News, Syracuse football coaches are set to help raise awareness about muscular dystrophy. Find out how.
And we have details from today's United Nations Security Council meeting, who Trump accused of election tampering and which nation may be investigated for war crimes.
Plus, the latest in sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
According to one study, the state of New York leads the nation in residents moving to other states in the country. And according to Governor Cuomo, it's thanks to the rain. Good evening. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Noah Eagle. Governor Cuomo told reporters on Tuesday that New Yorkers no longer face heavy job losses or high taxes, meaning a change in the weather is the only explanation for the moving out of the state.
Well, Republican candidate for governor Mark Molinaro would dispute these claims on Monday. He said Cuomo's policies are to blame for population loss and promises to fix New York's economic issues.
Well, Jack, some people might leave New York because of storms, but I'm surprisingly a big rain guy. As long as I have my umbrella, hair has to stay intact. I digress. We saw some of those notorious rains today.
I feel you on that hair part, and today's weather was all over the place, but hopefully clearer skies on the horizon. Citrus TV's weather anchor, Amber McElrath, will have the answer. Amber, what can we expect?
Yeah, guys, super rainy today. Luckily, it is going to clear up tonight. Right now, 64 degrees, 15% chance of rain, so it should be clearing up. We should not be seeing those torrential downpours anymore. And it is a little cooler than that 64 degrees because we have northwest winds coming in at about 13 miles per hour. And speaking of the rain, today we actually had a low priority weather alert in Syracuse. Because of the strong thunderstorms, they were worried there might be minor flooding. But it ended around 3 p.m., so we don't have to worry about that going into tonight. And as you can see here on the radar, we do have those storms coming in, but going into tomorrow, it should be clearing up. I'll have more in my full weather forecast coming up on Citrus TV News, live at 6.
Thanks so much, Amber. Syracuse police say that Crouse Hospital in Syracuse was placed on heightened security measures this afternoon. They say the security level rose in response to an emotional family member who became upset when a relative died. Earlier reports said that the hospital was placed on lockdown, but a Crouse Hospital spokesperson tells Citrus TV that no lockdown ever occurred. There's currently no active threat in the hospital. Looking for a job? Well, you still have time to get to the career fair taking place right now in the Carrier Dome. The fair started at 4 and has over 150 companies that span across all industries, including Amazon and Macy's. Students can use the Handshake app to help navigate this fair, as well as future career fairs and career opportunities. SU is launching a 7-week lecture series dedicated to understanding the Islamic faith. For 7 Tuesdays starting October 2nd, lectures will take place in room 114 of Byrd Library from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Lecture topics include politics and early Islamic history, the legacy of Muslim civilization, and the role of mosque in the life of Muslims. Hendricks Chapel Dean Brian Conkle will give an opening address this Tuesday.
And it's Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month, and Citrus TV reporter Carmella Boykin is in studio to tell us what events are happening. Hi, Carmella.
Hey, thank you, Jack. From September 15th to October 15th is Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month, and students on campus are celebrating. From fiestas to football, there are events happening all month long, and I spoke with co-chair of the planning committee, Jaleesa Pabon, to learn just what this month has to offer.
It's not just the Office of Multicultural Affairs collaborating with different departments to make events come about, but it's also a chance for students to collaborate with each other and different departments on campus to raise awareness on the issues that are happening within the Latinx community, as well as get a chance to unite some student organizations and departments to celebrate the different cultures within the Latinx community.
Pubon says one of the most important parts of the month is respecting all the different backgrounds within the population.
Even though we're all part of the Latinx community, we have different cultures and ethnicities that it's important to learn about and respect and value.
Chapter president of the Phi Iota Alpha fraternity says one of his favorite parts of the month is the bonding that comes along with learning about different cultures.
I do like to learn about where other people come from in South America and how they live. So it's really heartfelt and it's really genuine too.
One of the biggest events that happened this month was Fiesta Latina, a banquet with live music, food, and dancing to bring all different ethnicities together. But Polanco says these events aren't exclusive to the Latinx community. It's a great way for everyone to come out and understand different cultures.
You know, that's the main goal. You can't be one-sided with things now. It's important for not only them to understand us, but we have to understand them And that means like bringing them out to these events, so so that they could learn and give them the opportunity.
Polanco says overall, one of the most valuable parts of the month is having visibility.
So it's just important that people understand or try to recognize that we are here and we are here in numbers. And so giving us the month is a perfect way, I feel like, for us to represent that.
The next event happening this month is a football tournament in the Dome on October 9th. It's free for everyone to enter, and to register, visit imleagues.com. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Carmella. The Central New York Solidarity Coalition is calling on Central New Yorkers to join national protests against Judge Brett Kavanaugh. The group wants protesters to gather at the James Hanley Federal Building in downtown Syracuse at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. This comes after several women accused Kavanaugh of sexual assault. The group's Facebook page says sexual assault survivors will have the opportunity to speak and have their voices heard. We'll have more details on the newest Kavanaugh developments later in the show. And the Syracuse football team travels to South Carolina this week to face the Clemson Tigers. And when you watch them play that other orange team, you might notice something different about those Syracuse jerseys. That's because the team will wear logo patches as part of the Coach to Cure MD campaign to raise awareness for muscular dystrophy. The disease is found in 1 in every 3,600 baby boys, and there is currently no cure for Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
Just a great story. And an upstate city reaches a settlement in police brutality case. The settlement in Schenectady ends a lawsuit between a woman claiming 2 police officers slammed her head into a bench. Now, the woman's head was split open in 2016 and was later charged with a crime portraying her as an aggressor. The Schenectady City Council is expected to take up a settlement as early as this week. And a new report ranks New York as the best state for teachers to work in. According to the website Wallet Hub, the state ranked first among factors like growth potential and teacher safety, and the state also ranked high on factors such as income growth potential and average salaries for teachers. It's the second year that New York was ranked first by Wallet Hub. Other highly ranked states include Connecticut, Minnesota, and Illinois.
A Fort Drum soldier is due in court tomorrow for being involved in a sexual relationship with a minor. Following an investigation, state police are charging 21-year-old Michael Estes with third-degree rape and are accusing him of being involved with a 16-year-old girl. Estes will appear in Luray Court tomorrow.
According to an AP report, the Department of Justice will seek a private firm to investigate data from a New York-based group accused of forcing women into unwanted sex. The firm will reportedly go through 12 terabytes of data from the organization. Descriptions from a federal court say that a terabyte of data is equal to 12 library floors worth of books. The self-improvement group is also accused of branding women, allegations which those defendants are reportedly denying. Fall may have just started, but winter is right around the corner. The rescue mission in Syracuse is starting to collect hats, gloves, and scarves for the homeless. Hypothermia is the main concern as temperatures begin to drop, and the rescue mission also uses an emergency shelter for all those who need help.
And coming up after the break, new allegations against embattled Judge Kavanaugh. Find out what the third accuser has to say.
And President Trump makes major accusations at the United Nations General Assembly. What he said and more after the break.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver. The one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Literally, I have never once been in the White House where that conversation has happened. I am not aware of any cabinet members that are even talking about that. It is completely and totally absurd.
That's UN Ambassador Nikki Haley responding to questions on whether Trump cabinet members discussed invoking the 25th Amendment.
That follows a New York Times report alleging Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein suggested invoking the 25th and wearing a wire to record conversations with the president.
And CitrusTV political analyst Brandon Ross is here with what comes next for Rosenstein. Hi, Brandon.
Yeah, Jack. So this meeting between Trump and Rosenstein has been a long time coming, even with the recent development just moments ago that Trump said he never planned to fire Rosenstein. And now, so Rosenstein has given Trump a world of headaches ever since he was appointed Deputy Attorney General a while ago. He appointed Robert Mueller to head the Russia inquiry, the same one that Trump has repeatedly called a witch hunt launched by the Democrats. Back in April, Rosenstein also personally approved the FBI raid on the offices of Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. And the potential final straw, of course, came from that article you mentioned, published by the New York Times on Friday, which said that Rosenstein had discussed possibly recording Trump secretly and invoking the 25th Amendment, the latter of which would have removed Trump from office. And now we don't know what will happen in this meeting now, especially with this recent revelation that Trump doesn't intend to fire Rosenstein, but one thing's for sure, this is just going to be a continuing saga as this thing goes forward.
Right, I think it's a lot of he said type of back and forth. So what's with all this cat and mouse type game?
Well, we don't know. He's done the same thing with Jeff Sessions. He's constantly criticized Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, and it seems like he's trying to bully a lot of people into getting fired, rather into resigning, rather than him having to fire him, because it's been a long time thing that even though Trump's known for firing people, he doesn't actually like firing people in person. And so Rosenstein, obviously this meeting might have had Trump maybe just take a step back real quick, but, you know, as this goes forward, you're probably going to see more constant pressure he puts on both Rosenstein and Sessions, something he hasn't shied away from in the past.
Well, Brandon, we'll certainly keep an eye on this. Thank you so much.
She said, well, it might not be him, and there were gaps, and she said she was totally inebriated, and she was all messed up. This is a con game being played by the Democrats.
That's President Trump on Tuesday discrediting claims by two women alleging Kavanaugh sexually assaulted them in high school and in college, respectively. Now, today in a solo press conference, Trump reiterated that this is a Democratic Party hit job designated to hurt a good man. Now, a third woman has stepped forward.
Julie Swetnick says she was drugged and gang raped at a high school party and that Kavanaugh and author Mark Judge were present at that party.
Swetnick did not say that either Kavanaugh or Judge were part of the attacking group. However, she says that both men were part of efforts to spike girls' drinks and engaged in sexually aggressive behavior while intoxicated.
And Kavanaugh and his first accuser, Christine Ford, will testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow. Thus far, Kavanaugh and the White House have denied all allegations against the Supreme Court nominee. And President Donald Trump supports a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. That's what the president said today in a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the United Nations General Assembly.
The president also says the White House will release a peace plan for the region within 4 months. Netanyahu told reporters he appreciates the support from the United States.
And this is the first time the leaders have met with each other since the controversial decision to move the U.S. Embassy back to Jerusalem.
Trump also made claims about another country at the UN today, but these ones were not as kind.
Now, the president is accusing China of attempting to interfere in the upcoming midterm elections. He says that the U.S. has found evidence that China is trying to harm the Trump administration through election meddling.
The Chinese representative at the Security Council, however, denied these claims.
Point out that China has all along followed the principle of non-interference in other countries' domestic affairs. This is a tradition of Chinese foreign policy.
Turning now to the First Lady, Melania Trump outlined her first major trip abroad without the president.
Trump plans to visit Ghana, Malawi, Kenya, and Egypt as part of her Be Best campaign. Now, the First Lady says the initiative launched in May and is designed to improve child health and well-being across the world.
Now, according to Trump's communications director, this will be a diplomatic and humanitarian visit to the continent.
Interest rates are on the rise. The Federal Reserve has upped the number by 0.25% today.
This is the 8th time that the rate has been raised since 2015. The change signals a stronger U.S. economy, but will make paying loans back more difficult.
Right now, student loan rates are locked in at just over 5%. That number is expected to rise again in December and could change 3 more times in 2019.
And over 380,000 people are estimated dead in the civil war in South Sudan. That's according to a new report funded by the U.S. and conducted by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. The report calls those 380,000 deaths, quote, excess deaths.
And those deaths were reportedly due to violent injuries as well as disease and lack of health care. In March of 2016, the United Nations reported that only 50,000 were killed in the conflict. Now, the new death toll represents a 750% increase from that UN report.
Now, the conflict between the South Sudanese government forces and rebels is ongoing since late 2013.
6 nations are asking the United Nations International Court to investigate Venezuela for alleged crimes against humanity.
Argentina, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Peru, and Paraguay formally signed a joint statement today asking for the investigation. They're hoping the UN will look into charges that range from murder to torture.
Over 2 million people have fled from Venezuela after the country achieved the highest homicide and inflation rates in the world.
And the Danish submarine inventor convicted of torturing and murdering a Swedish reporter lost his life sentence appeal in court today.
In 2017, Peter Madsen murdered 30-year-old Kim Wall. Now, Madsen denies that he murdered Wall, saying the journalist's death was an accident. He does, however, admit to cutting her up and throwing her into the sea in August of last year.
Madsen asked the Copenhagen Court of Appeals to reduce his lifetime prison sentence, but the court upheld the original sentence. And we have some breaking news. The House of Representatives has passed a massive spending bill that has received bipartisan support.
President Trump will have to sign the bill by midnight on Sunday to avoid a government shutdown, and Citrus TV will have further updates on the bill as they develop.
And coming up after the break, Citrus TV's Amber McElrath has your full weather forecast. Stay tuned.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Right here we have our past Wednesday temperatures starting our first week back at school and going all the way till today. As you can see in August, 92 degrees of a high, going all the way down to 71 today. So we did see a sharp decrease in temperatures over the past 5 weeks. And looking at current temperatures across the area, they do reflect this general trend, all mid to high 60s, the highest in Elmira, 69 degrees, nothing breaking 70 degrees, all mid 60s range. And looking at tonight, it is going to get very chilly, high of 49 tonight, Cloudy, 5% chance of rain, so it will clear up from today, but it is still going to be pretty chilly. And then looking at tomorrow morning, 57 degrees. It's going to be cloudy tomorrow. We might see a little bit of sun, but it's mostly going to stay overcast. A nice change from the rain that we were experiencing today. And looking at the rest of Thursday, it's going to be a little chillier, 54 at 9 a.m., 61 around noon, and 62 at 6 p.m. It's not going to get much higher than those low 60s. It's mostly cloudy. Like I said, that 5% chance of rain, so we won't be seeing the same weather that we saw today. Back to you guys.
Coming up in sports, it's the rematch we've all been waiting for. Undefeated Syracuse meets undefeated Clemson on Saturday. But what key piece will the Tigers be without? I'll fill you in on the other side.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
You go and step out of the vehicle for me?
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. I'm JD Raucci with sports. If there's one thing that Clemson has become known for in its nearly decade-long reign of terror in the ACC, it's that vaunted defense. The Tigers currently have 17 defensive players in the NFL, and this season's edition of the D is looking no different with an absolutely stacked defensive line. But for Eric Dungy, there's more to worry about than just those big boys up front.
So you look at that D-line, I mean, they're very, they got a lot of veterans over there. They're huge, fast, strong, smart. So it's going to present a major challenge for our linemen. Their linebackers, like I said, they got a lot of experience, and the defensive backs are very athletic. So it's going to be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to going down there.
Dungy might be looking forward to going down to Death Valley, but I bet you he still has what happened last time the Orange paid a visit to Clemson in the back of his mind. If you remember, that was a demoralizing 54-0 loss for SU, and it was also the last game Dungy would play as a sophomore after sustaining a concussion in the first quarter, thanks in part to that defensive line for Clemson. This season's matchup in Death Valley starts at noon on Saturday. And if defense has been the headliner for Clemson this season, then the quarterback competition between Kelly Bryant and freshman sensation Trevor Lawrence has been the warm-up act, at least until now. Just 2 days after Clemson announced that Lawrence would start against SU, Bryant has countered with announcing his intent to transfer from the program. Bryant had started the last 16 games for Dabo Swinney and led the Tigers to a college football playoff appearance last season. Meanwhile, Syracuse not experiencing quite the same problems with their quarterback situation. In fact, starter Eric Dungy is being recognized for some of his off-the-field accomplishments. The senior has been named to the watch list for both the Campbell Trophy and the Senior Class Award. Often referred to as the Academic Heisman, the Campbell Trophy recognizes the top football scholar athlete in the country. The Senior Class Award goes to an FBS senior with notable achievements in the areas of community, classroom, character, and competition. Dungy is a 3-time ACC Honor Roll selection and also volunteers his time at Golisano Children's Hospital and with the SU chapter of Uplifting Athletes. And the award nominations don't stop there for SU quarterbacks. Redshirt sophomore Rex Culpepper is one of 4 nominees for the 2018 Capital One Orange Bowl Football Writers Association of America Courage Award. Culpepper was, of course, diagnosed with testicular cancer in March before being declared cancer-free on June 1st. And the awards onslaught continues to the professional ranks now. Buffalo Bills linebacker Matt Milano is the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. The former BC Eagle had a fumble recovery, interception, and sack on Sunday against the Vikings. He's the first Bill to pull off that feat since Troy Vincent in 2004. In baseball, the Yankees look to make it 3 wins in a row tonight against the Rays, and there's more than just a winning streak on the line. If the Bombers can take down Tampa, they would shrink their magic number to clinch the top wildcard spot in the AL to just 1 game, and they've got a great chance to do that with Masahiro Tanaka taking the bump tonight at 7:10. We've also got a 7:10 start time for the Mets tonight as they take on the Braves in Queens. This should be the last chance that Jacob deGrom gets to bolster his Cy Young resume. The right-hander comes into the game with the NL's best ERA at 1.77 on the season. He squares off with Brave stud Sean Newcomb. And we'll finish things off on a positive note for Mets fans. Fan favorite David Wright has officially been activated off the disabled list. The move marks the first time the 35-year-old has been on New York's active roster since June 3rd of 2016. Wright has said he plans to retire at the end of the season and will see the final action of his career this weekend.
Thanks so much, JD. Don't go anywhere. Citrus TV. We'll be right back.
Got a quarter?
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Looking at the rest of the week, it's going to be mostly cloudy Thursday and Friday, and then we're going to see those showers on Saturday. Lows pretty low for Syracuse, 49, 53.
All right, well, that's all we have for Citrus TV News. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Citrus TV News. I'm Noah Eagle.
And I'm Jack Watson. Have a great evening, Syracuse.